611. It's quality you can appreciate and service you can depend on at Mitchell Funeral Home.
Hey friends, Father's Day is right around the corner, and Coleman's Dynamic Products is offering a dynamic gift just for Dad. Pick 6 for Dad. Any 6 items in my product line. Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, Dust, Juice, Nuts, Batter, you name it, all for only $29.95. Plus shipping and handling. Pick 10 for only $39.95. Pick 6 for Dad. You must call 615-554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day special. Dad and you will be glad you did. Each purchase receives a Coleman's Dynamic downloadable cookbook. We want to say Happy Father's Day for all the great fathers out there. And while you enjoy your day, don't forget to bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah, with Coleman's Dynamic Product. Pick 6 or pick 10. You must call.
How long is it there?
554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day special.
The views and opinions expressed today on Black Focus Radio are not the views and opinions of the station, its management, or its advertisers. Now, let's get ready to focus on our issues, our solutions, using our voices on Black Focus Radio.
Welcome to Black Focus, the show designed with our community in mind, where we focus on our issues, developing our solutions, using our voices. Central Arkansas, surrounding areas, and the nation. Get ready. Black Focus starts right now. Phone lines open at 855-525-5683. So here's your host, David W. Colton and Robert Webb.
All right, take this one. All right, welcome to the show, the Thursday edition of Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices. 855-525-5683. I give that number out every day. You can call me. Don't be intimidated. You know about as much as I know. So get a brother a holler, okay? If you want to talk to me about some of the issues that are going on. Shout out to Rizal Aaron for the Power of Justice show that comes on every Tuesday and Thursday prior to Black Focus. Keeping you up to date and in the know, and certainly keeping the police on their P's and Q's. Of course, we do that here as well. And that's what we've got to do. That's the whole purpose of Black Focus Radio. Want to remind people that if you've got an event coming up and you want to get the word out, you want to maximize your advertising dollars, give me a call at 615-554-0568. And we'll put together an advertising package specifically for your event, okay? And to top it off, we'll spread it across our vast network of social media, because all of us have social media accounts. Jason, myself alone, we probably got, 3,000 or 4,000 people between us. So that'll go all on my page and all the others. So make sure you all check that out and give us a call for that. You can also catch the stream. I posted the stream on from YouTube. We are streaming live on YouTube as well. For whatever reasons, the stream for Black Focus on Facebook seems to be intermittent. So I apologize for that. So you can certainly go out and catch that stream. If this stream keeps going in and out, just go out to my wall. The YouTube stream is up and running. And also you can check out the little applets, because say, for instance, you want to advertise your event. I've got even some advertising rates for you to advertise on YouTube on my stream as well, okay? So we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Of course, we've got a great Black Focus, a Black Fact for you. As a matter of fact, it's going to be Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, okay? It's about 6 minutes, dog. You need to hear this. We've been talking a lot about this abortion thing and what it's all about. So, and I talk about it a lot as well. And so I'm going to let you listen to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing in the Black Fact, okay? We're also going to talk about the importance of teaching your black child to swim, okay? The mayor, Frank Scott, just released some open swim dates for the community over at Jim Daly Fitness. Here's an opportunity for you to get your butt over there and get your child over there. So maybe you want to lose some weight. So while your child is swimming, you can be in the fitness center, shaking your body down to the ground on them weights or walking some stairs or something like that. So we're going to talk about that today as well. Also, the Highwaymen have decided to support Charles Starks. And if you don't know who the Highwaymen are, they are an offshoot from the terrorist organization, the KKK. Charles Starks is a police officer. The question is, will the Little Rock Police Department and the FOP denounce their support for Charles Starks? We're going to talk about all of that today because I think it's important for those people who are running around as our elected officials. They need to come out clearly where they stand on white supremacy. So if the FOP is supporting Charles Starks and the Highwaymen are supporting Charles Starks, isn't it incumbent upon the FOP to denounce that support by the Highwaymen? We're going to talk about all of that here in just a moment. I want to thank everybody for joining me. Got tons and tons of stuff to talk about. Please, please, please. I can see right now that the Facebook feed is going in and out, as it's been doing. I don't know why for the last 3 or 4 days. It's kind of crazy. I don't know why it's been doing that. But it's important for you to get out there on YouTube and check out the show. Okay? So you can hear everything I have to say. And more importantly, you can go ahead and download the app. Go to joynetradio.com. It's a small app. Just go ahead and download it from your prospective app store. And that way the feed won't keep going in and out. Okay? So I apologize. Look, there's nothing I can do about it for whatever reasons. And as a matter of fact, based on what we've been hearing about Facebook as of late, they could be doing it on purpose. I would not be surprised. They could be doing this on purpose. So just be aware of that as well as the feed continues to go in and out. Okay? So that's the deal. So I just posted it on the feed so you all can click on that and listen to it via YouTube. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and jump into this Black Fact. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Like I said, this runs 6 minutes and 16 seconds, but it's well worth it. Right here on joynetradio.com.
Dynamic Black Facts. Our culture, our history, our people.
Posted it on the feed so you all can click on that.
But recognizing that the majority of the problems that black patients had in psychiatric hospital, when you took a history, you would run smack into racism. So I knew I had to understand racism to help solve mental health problems of black people. So out of my brain computer, putting in the question, why? Why do we see this behavior? Why have we seen it for hundreds of years? So I thought about these two things, basically two facts. That even though the white population says that people of color are minorities, that it is the white population that is the minority on the planet.
That's the reality.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
That in spite of the fact that black people, non-white people have heard over and over again, you're genetically inferior because you are non-white. That in reality, white skin is a genetic recessive status, not as said by Francis Welsing. You see, meaning that white plus colored, well, wait a minute. It's not Francis Welsing that is concerned about the disappearance of white. Ben Wattenberg just wrote a book, The Birth Dearth. There have been multiple articles in the newspaper talking about the decline of Western populations.
Yeah, here's the Washington Post, just to name one. We are a depopulation bomb, the withering of the Western world. Here, incidentally, this was the percentage of the West's population in 1900, the turn of this century, about 30%. This is where we'll be less than 10% in the year 2075. Here's where we are about today, 15. So we're not having babies.
So whites are not having babies, and there is the concern about white genetic annihilation. In other words, I look at, this is Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday holiday, and people will say, well, here's a man who talked about love. Why was he killed? And I say that the deeper logic is, what if all black and white people and non-white people and white people love? What would happen to white people? White would disappear. You see, just mix all of the people on the planet up together. I'm saying that if we mixed all of the people presently on the planet, stirred them up,
The white freckle-faced people would be gone.
Genetic recessive status would disappear. And that if I did a survey and everybody didn't have to, face anybody, if I said how many people who are white want their children to be white, want their grandchildren to be white, want their great-grandchildren to be white, want their great-great-grandchildren to be white. And I've gone all over the country in England and asked this question. Yeah. Everybody wants the children and the generations to remain white. Yeah. If you do, then you have to do something to make sure that that happens. And I say that what the thing is that is done, and particularly in relationship to black non-whites, because we have the greatest genetic potential to cause white genetic annihilation.
Because you're the blackest.
Because
most color.
Right, we have this ability to produce melanin pigment. We have more of it than anybody else. And so the most pressure is on black people. As a matter of fact, the black people learn, all non-white people over the world learn. If you're black, stay back. If you're yellow, you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, not white, right. I can go to England and the people can just say the same thing. Doesn't matter whether if you go to the Philippines. Because there has been a confrontation of brown with white. Everybody knows the more pigment you have, the more pressure that is on you.
Yeah.
But they didn't understand why. I said the why is for the purpose of white genetic survival.
All right. And you're saying that blacks have no similar hidden subconscious anxiety about their blackness being undermined by the presence of white?
We don't have that fear. And I think that this is something that is not understood. You see, in other words, if I don't worry about, as a matter of fact, under white supremacy, the non-white people try to get lighter. You see, because the less pigment you have, the less threat you are to white, and so the greater opportunity that you have. I predicted. Look, I wrote that in 1970. I said you cannot have integrated housing. You cannot have integrated schools.
You still believe that?
The evidence. I always look at the evidence. If Mr. Black and Mr. White live next door to each other, they have the same job, the same income, the same car, the same furniture. Yeah. They both walk out of the house in the morning. Good morning, Mr. Black. Good morning, Mr. White. But Mr. White is still looking, but you've got something that I don't have. As a very small child, I wanted to understand why black men were lynched. I asked my grandmother and parents, why would this be done? And my grandmother gave a statement. She said something like, well, some people just want to act ugly. But that wasn't sufficient, as a psychiatrist. Now, his sexual capacity, what are we talking about? I say that the fear is that the black male can cause white genetic annihilation. And this is why the attack on the genitals, there's no history in the world of any non-white men attacking white men's genitals. But why do white men feel the need to zero in on the black man's genitals and cut them off? Look at the game of billiards. See, the psychiatrist knows that through games we play out subconscious activity.
Yes, they do.
Okay, now look at this game. Here's a game with colored balls.
Yes.
All over the table.
And guess who gets to shoot the ball?
The white ball knocks all the colored balls under the table.
And often saves the black ball.
Black ball, right.
Till last.
Black Focus Radio for more dynamic Black facts, our culture, our history, our people on JoyNetRadio.com.
That was the great, late Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Do yourself a favor and go out. You can go to YouTube right now and just pull up Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and Donahue. And that entire hour of that fascinating speech, or I should say guest appearance, that began back in it was 74, 75. You'll begin to understand just how smart this woman was and how she foresaw, just through psychological behavior, that we'd be in this predicament today about race. It is fascinating. The more I read about her, the more I hear her, I learn over and over again. That's Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. I advise you to go check it out, okay? So those are our Black facts for today. I've got a lot of others, but I just had to play that. I mean, because when I play that, that lets me know that I am on task of what I'm trying to do is educate our people in what's really going on with us, because it really boils down to us psychologically being destroyed. And we've got to rebuild that. Dr. Welsing called it menticide, the total destruction of the minds of a race of people. That had to be done in order to control us, who were in the majority, who think we're a minority. You had to attack the mind. That's what 400 years of conditioning did to black people. So I don't want to hear anything about black people don't deserve reparations. We deserve more than reparations. That's why every presidential candidate, as far as I'm concerned, if you want my vote, you better have a plan for reparations. 855-525-5683 is the number. Tons of stuff to talk about. I want to jump just quickly. I want to give a shout out to the brother. I don't know who he was. Now, I'll admit, there was a time in my life where I carried a can of black paint around with me, where I traveled quite a bit. And there were often times that I would see vehicles that bared the Confederate flag. I'm going to be real with you. So I'm looking at this brother. There's a video that I posted on my wall. Apparently, this brother, and someone was driving, he jumps out of the car on the passenger side, and they're trailing a diesel truck on the interstate, and the traffic is bumper to bumper. Okay? So apparently the young brother jumps out, runs up behind the diesel truck, and snatches the Confederate flag off the cab of that truck. Bravo. Bravo. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, as I said. At one point in my life, I carried a can of black paint around with me because I was on the interstate a lot. Okay? I was on the interstate. Let me just tell you this. From Nashville, Tennessee to Little Rock, Arkansas, I could go to sleep and I could wake up and look at the terrain and I could tell you how many miles we had to go either way. That's just how much I was on I-40 at one point in my life. Almost 30 years of up and down I-40. I kid you not. So I would oftentimes see vehicles that had stars and bars license plates. And if I conveniently pulled over at a rest stop and, I would, let's just say I would use the black paint to cover up that obscene symbol. So congratulations to the young brother who did that. I'm proud of you. Okay? I'm just being real with you. Don't get mad. I'm a real brother, man. I don't care what anybody says about that stars and bars. There is nothing positive about it whatsoever. Go out to my wall. I don't know why this guy sets himself on fire. It is the most fascinating picture I've seen in a long time. And for some reason, I can't stop looking at it. But there's a man that out at the White House apparently the other day, he set himself on fire. And the irony is that you can see he's a flame. He's an orange ball of flames. And you can see the shirt that he's wearing says USA, and it has an American flag on it. Wow. Just sickness. Just sickness. Let's see, a couple other notes there. We'll get to that in a moment. Tell you what I want to do here. And I didn't put this in the tease, but I'm going to take a moment here to talk about something that bothers me and that continues to bother me. And you're going to get upset with me and you're going to get mad at me. All right? But here's my point. Will you all please, if you are in the dating realm, if you're one of those people out there who is dating and you have a child, please, please, please do not introduce your new date to your child. The relationship that you are developing is between you and that person, not your child. Okay? That introduction to your child should not come until you all have decided that you are in a serious relationships. That's 6 months to a year. Hello? No, he shouldn't be coming over to your house, sleeping at your house, and you've got small children at your house. No, she shouldn't be coming over to your house, sleeping at your house, if you've got small children at your house. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. Oh, he's just a fuddy-duddy. He's old school. Well, let me tell you why this is important. Well, number one, you know how relationships go. When you're out there dating, she may be, she may not be. He may be, he may not be. Sometimes that could happen every month. You got someone new dating. Now, number one, if you're sleeping with somebody different every month, I would argue that you got a problem anyway. That's just me. If you're sleeping with someone every month, I would argue that you got a problem anyway. But more importantly, you don't want your child to become dependent on someone new who may be in and out of their life in a month or 2 months. Now, let me give you an example, because I like to say what I do. That old saying, do as I say and not as I do. So when I became a single parent, and I talk about this a lot with my kids, if you offered my children $1 million each, my daughter and my son, and you asked them, can you tell me one person your dad dated? Can you tell me one woman that came into your household? They would lose that $1 million. I'm being real with you. They would lose that $1 million because my dating life and my sex life was off limits to my children. Quite often when I would meet women, because I loved my children so much, I talked a lot about my children, my son, my daughter. And they would say, oh, I just can't wait to meet your children. And I would say, you're probably not going to meet my children. And they would get offended. I said, well, look, don't get offended. I just don't believe in introducing my young children into my personal life as it relates to dating. Now, if we go on to become a thing where we're together for an extended period of time, oh, by all means, you will meet my children. Some of the women got upset saying, oh, well, you're trying to hide me from your children. No, that's not it. I just personally felt that it was important that my children knew that they had my total attention. And introducing someone into their lives that may or may not be there in a year, in my opinion, is unhealthy. It just is. You all get mad all you want. It was just unhealthy. I'm talking about me. Now, I know some of you all have done it. But let me just be more specific. Over the last few months with Facebook and social media, we are hearing story after story of a boyfriend who has sexually abused a child. We are hearing story after story of a female who has sexually abused a child. All because you wanted him or her to be a babysitter. That's not their job. I know you want them to trust, but I'm sorry. In this day and time, your boyfriend should not be babysitting your children. In fact, your girlfriend should not be babysitting your children. Let me make it a little bit more simplistic to you. You know something my mom always said to me? She said, never let anyone borrow your car. And I'd say, why? She said, because if you let someone borrow your car, they're not going to treat it the way you treat it. Whereas that you might avoid the potholes, that person will run into potholes. Your child or your boyfriend is not going to treat your child the way you treat them. I don't care who he is. I don't care who she is. We need to stop this silliness. Look, at the end of the day, you had that child. That child is your responsibility. Look, I'm going to say it like this. If you are a parent, a mother, and your child ends up getting abused by your boyfriend, I think you ought to go to jail. We can nip this in the bud right now. If you are a custodial parent and your child ends up getting abused by your girlfriend, you ought to go to jail. You put that child in that environment. Let me give an example. I would think that's contributing to the delinquency of a minor. If I take my child out and I'm at the mall and I leave my child in a hot car, I could go to jail, right? Because that child could have died. In some cases, they do die. If I take my child to a strip club, I'm going to go to jail, right? I know that's a crazy example, but I'm just giving an example. If I take my child to a commission of a crime, let's say like the white guy did in Louisiana where he robbed the bank and he ended up taking his child with him, I'm going to go to jail and they're going to take my child, right? Because you know what I'm doing? If I take my child and I buy him beer and he's 5 years old and I give him beer, or we've seen video of people allowing their children, babies, to smoke pot, those children were eventually taken away by state officials and those parents were charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor because that environment was not good. We've even seen cases where parents don't even feed their children. There was a case locally here in Hot Springs, Arkansas, where the parents had their child taken because they were what? Think about it. They allowed this child to be bitten by rats, contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Those parents ended up going to jail. So if I am out here dating and I bring a person into my home and that person abuses my child, I should go to jail. There should be no excuse about, oh, I didn't know. That sister who is taking a lot of heat because her boyfriend killed that child, Did you see when she was walking to court how some of the bystanders was giving her hell? They should have. She should have known. If you allow someone to come into your home and abuse your children, then you, parent, ought to go to jail. I've had enough of this. I've had enough of hearing stories about boyfriends killing children or girlfriends killing children. I'm tired of these stories. These are stories that should not be happening. See, that's preventable. All you got to do if you got the hots for the man, all you got to do is pay someone to get you a babysitter. And y'all can go to a hotel or wherever you need to be, or take the children over mama's house and y'all can do the horizontal sausage all you want while the children are not there. But the immediate time when you bring that person into your home, you're opening up your children for danger. I hate to say it, but in this day and time, we got to start being more proactive and understanding, start protecting our children. I'm just tired of reading stories about children being sexually abused by boyfriends or girlfriends. There is no excuse for that. And if that occurs on your watch, you ought to be in jail. Because you contributed to the delinquency of a minor by allowing that adult person into your home and trusting that person. Don't care if he paid your rent. Don't care if she paid your cell phone bill or your car note. Don't care how good the sex is. Your responsibility first and foremost ought to be to your children. Not whether or not you can get a hot date. I know that's backwards. But those children didn't ask to be here. And they deserve to be protected by their parents. And if their parents cannot protect them, then either those children need to be removed or the law needs to come down like a hammer on those parents. I'm tired of reading these stories, folks. You ought to be as well. 855-525-5683 is the number. Tired of reading these stories. We got to go out and take a quick break. When we come back. So you think racism is dead in Little Rock? I'm going to prove a point to you. That you black ministers out here hiding behind your pulpits, you better wake up and smell the coffee. Just because you can live out in them little fancy neighborhoods, they are sending you symbols everywhere you look. And one was hanging in plain sight. Pun intended. Back in a moment. You're listening to Black Focus Radio on joinnedradio.com.
Hey friends, Father's Day is right around the corner, and Coleman's Dynamic Products is offering a dynamic gift just for Dad. Pick 6 for Dad. Any 6 items in my product line. Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, Dust, Juice, Nuts, Batter, you name it, all for only $29.95 plus shipping and handling. Upgrade to Pick 10 for only $39.95. Pick 6 for Dad. You must call 615-554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day special. Dad and you will be glad you did. Each purchase receives a Coleman's Dynamic downloadable cookbook. We want to say Happy Father's Day for all the great fathers out there. And while you enjoy your day, don't forget to bake it, grill it, smoke it, oh yeah, with Coleman's Dynamic product. Pick 6 or pick 10. You must call 615-554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day special. The law offices of James F. Swindoll provides our clients the personal care and attention that larger law firms cannot offer. Our experienced attorneys have brought hundreds of cases to verdict in state and federal court and recovered millions for our clients. If you or a loved one have been injured or have property wrongfully damaged, we may be able to help. Do not hesitate to contact our firm anytime for a free attorney consultation. Call 1-800 1-800-848-1290. That's 1-800-848-1290. Or email inquiries at arkansas-personal-injury.com. Our law offices are centrally located at 212 Center Street in Little Rock. That's the law offices of James F. Swindoll, personal injury and products liability attorney serving Arkansas since 1977.
Mitchell Funeral Home welcomes all of Arkadelphia and Arkansas to connect with a family-owned and operated service provider in Clark County since 1966. At Mitchell Funeral Home, they understand that the funeral is a celebration of a life and legacy, so the entire staff takes great pride in the caring, personal, and professional services they provide. Cremations, funeral planning, burial policy, life insurance, notary, and monument sales are just a few of the services they offer. Flexible packages are available as well. Mitchell Funeral Home appreciates the trust and confidence placed in them and will continue to enhance their services so as to serve you better. Call now. Get connected. 870-246-2611. That's 870-246-2611. Call, click, or come by. MitchellFuneralServices.com. Don't wait till we're needed. Call us now. Let's walk through this together. 870-246-2611. It's quality you can appreciate and service you can depend on at Mitchell Funeral Home.
Hey friends, Father's Day is right around the corner, and Coleman's Dynamic Products is offering a dynamic gift just for Dad. Pick 6 for Dad. Any 6 items in my product line. Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, Dust, Juice, Nuts, Batter, you name it, all for only $29.95 plus shipping and handling. Upgrade to Pick 10 for only $39.95. Pick 6 for Dad. You must call 615-554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day special. Dad and you will be glad you did. Each purchase receives a Coleman's Dynamic downloadable cookbook. We want to say Happy Father's Day for all the great fathers out there. And while you enjoy your day, don't forget to bake it, grill it, smoke it, oh yeah, with Coleman's Dynamic product. Pick 6 or pick 10. You must call 615-554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day special.
All right, welcome back to the show. 855-525-5683 is the number. If you want to call the show, that's how you get in touch with me. You can also respond via Facebook or the YouTube feed, or you can send me an email at blackfocusradio@gmail.com. So plenty of ways to get in touch with me. Before I left, I dropped a tease on you right here in Little Rock, Arkansas. If you live out there in the Green Acres Village or Green Acres subdivision, let's just say you live with a racist, and no telling how many more are out there hiding around. Now you're saying, well, Dave, how could you make such a charge? Well, you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Sometimes it's worth more than that. Yesterday evening, I began to see video of people posting of a Confederate flag. Well, to be totally honest, in this area, you will run across Confederate flags, unfortunately. You know, those white people haven't gotten it yet. You lost. We'll get into that in a moment. But as they showed the video, you know, I really couldn't see what was going on until I said, oh my God, there's something hanging there. And sure enough, there's a mannequin hanging beside the Confederate flag. And the mannequin is black. Now, Green Acres subdivision is off Colonel Glenn Road. You know, I've been planning to find out who the hell was Colonel Glenn, okay? Because, I don't know, so I was riding down, because when I grew up, Colonel Glenn, that was actually Asher Avenue, okay? It was always Asher to me. When I moved back to Little Rock, it was Colonel Glenn. And you know, you have to be careful. You have to be careful exactly when you start naming things after people, because you begin to realize that some of them folks are actually racist. Okay? I'm just quickly going through it, okay? This resolves other problems as well as recognizing space achievement. Okay. Okay, so according to this article, this is from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Let me see the date. This was 1962. Okay, Colonel Glenn Road in Little Rock is named in honor of astronaut John Glenn. Hey, I didn't know that. I just learned that. Okay, cool. I'm cool with that. Okay? I just needed to know. So, off of Colonel Glenn Road, named after the great John Glenn, who I totally love and respect, they had a racist epitaph, a racist memorial, a Confederate flag, and a hanging black dummy. So I guess because it got such, it went viral just in the few minutes that I saw it. And then all of a sudden I started seeing it posting on other people's feeds. So it went viral real fast. So Fox 16 decided to dispatch a crew to the area. So I'll read you the quick article. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, let's see if we can get some I was hoping there is video. Let's see if we can get some video from this. Hopefully we can. So let's see what we get here. And to realize that some of them. Well, wait a minute. Let's see if we can get a little video. All right, that's all right. I just want to make sure all of the stuff is. All right, so let me just read the article to you. How about that? Okay. It says, some people in Little Rock neighborhood are furious after seeing a Facebook post of a neighbor's home that shows a mannequin hanging from a tree next to a Confederate flag. This day and time, there's no place for it, says Ricky Allen. I saw a video of a noose of a person of color hanging from it. It's kind of disturbing. The home from which several people have driven by Wednesday after seeing a viral Facebook post is near Greenwood Acre subdivision off Colonel Glenn Road in Little Rock. It's heartbreaking to know neighbors in the neighborhood is like that, says Allen. Allen, by the way, is a black guy. Tracy Sims lives a few blocks away from her home. She calls it disheartening. I saw a rebel flag and I found out it was someone near my home. It's very disturbing, says Sims. It is a free country, but it's very offensive. The woman in the home, who is white, says it doesn't have anything to do with race. Well, hell, I'll take it down. This is a Halloween decoration, a creeper. You know, from the movie Jeepers Creepers, says the woman. The woman claims no one has stopped by her house to tell her the mannequin is offensive. They could have knocked on the door and asked instead of calling the news out, says the racist white woman. I added that, by the way. She says she would remove it but wouldn't do it in front of the camera. Fox 16 said they left and came back 20 minutes later, and sure enough, the mannequin had been taken down. Now, let me break some of that down for you, okay? I need to break some of that down for you, okay? Because, number one, if you have a Confederate flag, number one, you're racist. Let me say that again. I'm not going to mince words with this. I have never minced words with that. If you are walking around brandishing a Confederate flag you are a racist. Don't want to hear the argument about it's my heritage. Because if you say that, I'm going to break your heart again. Your heritage is racist. What part of your heritage that reflects the Confederate flag is not racist? What part of your heritage that displays the Confederate flag is not racist? I mean, when you say it's your heritage, I'll accept that. But if you say it's your heritage, then your heritage is racist. Well, we know it is. So anytime you display a Confederate flag, you're racist. You cannot separate anything in the South from that flag. Everything that happened in the South is directly related to that flag and the racism that went on, the bigotry, the rape of young children, of young girls, the murder of young children and young girls, men and women, the separation of families, mothers and fathers from their children, the selling of human capital. Yeah, if you say that flag is your heritage, then you have to accept all of that heritage. You don't get an opportunity. You don't have the right to say, oh, I accept the white people, but I don't accept what came out of the white people. No, that doesn't work with that flag. Either you accept all of that heritage or you cannot accept any. And when you accept any of it, then you're a racist. You get mad all you want, I don't care. That includes the statues. That includes the bust that are in some of the Southern Capitol houses. If you embrace any of it, you are a racist. Period. Because what was that time period? That time period was racism. It was based on racism. Everything that came out of the South was based on racism. And we still live it today. Now that I got you good mad, because you got to own up. I'm so tired of white people talking about, oh, well, that's my heritage. Well, you know what? You're exactly right. And your heritage was racist. Your grandfather owned slaves, owned human capital. I read yesterday about the story of the black minister who was killed and murdered and his land was stolen. His family was ran out of town. That's your heritage. So when you embrace that stars and bars, let's embrace it all. Halloween, my ass. It had nothing to do with Halloween. Last I checked, Halloween was October 31st. It's May 30th. I don't recall seeing any kids running up and down the street with Halloween masks on and bags asking for candy in May. That symbology meant exactly what you wanted it to mean. Is, hey, I hate black people, I'm a racist. And I'm going to prove it by hanging up an effigy of a black man beside a stars and bars. That's all it meant. You cannot parse it. You cannot pretend. That's all it meant, is you hate black people. And they ought to be hanging from a tree. Halloween. Give me a break. I know you people are stupid because you follow Donald Trump, and you got to be pretty stupid to follow that idiot. But other people out here like myself have common sense, and we know a spade when it's a spade. We know a racist when it's a racist. And lady, whomever you are a racist. But here's the shocking thing about it. How is it that the neighbors in that neighborhood who are black never said anything about it? You see, evil can only thrive when good people say or do nothing. So you live in that neighborhood. Your neighbor is displaying a racist effigy of a black man hanging from a tree, and more importantly, a Stars and Bars flag. Now look, we see them display stars and bars. Okay. But then they're going to hang a black man from a tree. That's clearly a message. How is it that people who lived in that neighborhood didn't get it? How is it that you continue to turn your back? And see, I think that's something that we can learn from. Because see, what has happened to black people is that we've simply accepted racism. We've simply given up fighting racism. So we allow this to hang in our neighborhoods without us even saying anything. See, here's my thing. If nothing else, if you don't say anything, why not at night go by and snatch that mannequin off out of that tree? Like I did when I was younger, when I had that black paint, and I would go and spray paint over those Stars and Bars license plates. Yeah, I did that. I don't understand how you lived in that neighborhood and you did nothing about that effigy. It's mind-boggling to me. See, the problem with racism, the reason racism has reared its ugly head, is black people have accepted it. We've accepted it as normal. We've decided no longer, we're not going to even fight racism anymore. And now look what has happened. We've got a racist in chief who is supported by the terrorist organization named the KKK, the Skinheads, the Highwaymen, and whom else? And the Proud Boys. Because we ignored racism. See, the thing about a disease, you got to be on guard for it every time. Let me give you an example. The measles. Remember in 2000, they said that the measles had been eradicated. Look what's going on now. The measles have returned because we got off our guard. Y'all understand that, right? We got off our guard. So now we started hearing all of these conspiracy theorists. All these people saying, oh, don't take the MMR. It's causing my child to be cross-eyed. It's causing my child to walk backwards or sideways. All of these conspiracy theorists who had no medical training whatsoever. The MMR had been used for decades with minimal negative effects. And then all of a sudden, every time a child didn't turn out the way a parent, oh, my child is too black. Oh, well, he must have taken the MMR. Oh, my child he's left-handed as opposed to right-handed. Oh, he must have taken the MMR. All of these crazy conspiracies about the MMR has now put us back in a mode where measles have reared its ugly head to the point where they're shutting down school systems and cities. Measles today is racism of yesterday. And because we thought that racism was gone, we thought it was over, we believed in the lie that was being pushed by the white media that we were now living in a post-racial society, and all the while racism was festering. It was growing in our state houses. It was growing in our city councils and governments. And we thought everything was okay. This is why we're here. And those people that were in that neighborhood, who lived in that neighborhood, you saw that. You saw that flag. You saw that effigy. Don't pretend like it wasn't there. It's time to stand up against racism. It's time to stand up against a president who dares to pit rich against poor, black against white, poor white against poor black, and he laughs all the way to the bank with his Republican Party. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with me. It's called Black Focus Radio. We ain't playing up in here. And it's time for y'all to stop playing. We got to take the top of the hour break. I'm Dynamic Dave. Feeling good, baby. Right here on joynetradio.com.
Hey friends, Father's Day is right around the corner, and Coleman's Dynamic Products is offering a dynamic gift just for Dad. Pick 6 for Dad. Any 6 items in my product line. Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, Dust, Juice, Nuts, Batter, you name it, all for only $29.95 plus shipping and handling. Upgrade to Pick 10 for only $39.95. Pick 6 for Dad. You must call 615-554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day special. Dad and you will be glad you did. Each purchase receives a Coleman's Dynamic downloadable cookbook. We want to say Happy Father's Day for all the great fathers out there. And while you enjoy your day, don't forget to bake it, grill it, smoke it, oh yeah, with Coleman's Dynamic product. Pick 6 or pick 10. You must call 615-554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day special.
Fill your home for the holidays with Bedrock Mattress and More. Bundle and save for every room in your home. Package deals just in time for the holidays. Our first bundle starting at $598. Perfect for a dorm room. Bundle deal 2, only $15.99. Enough to fill your first apartment. And fill your home with our third bundle starting at only $24.99. Come get these deals while they last. Special pricing going on now through the end of the year. Celebrate this holiday season with something new from Bedrock Mattress and More. 3901 South University in Little Rock.
Hold on it, the butler done it.
Check out our new arrivals at Butler Furniture Depot. Sofas, sectional, bedroom sets, pump sets, as well as home appliances now.
You get a finance. You get a finance. Everyone gets a finance.
No credit check plan with 90-day savings cash. Make Butler Furniture Depot your one-stop shop. Call 562-8333 for directions.
Who done it? The butler done it. Butler Furniture Depot.
Hi, I'm attorney Theodore Thompson from the Thompson Law Firm, and I want to help with your legal matters. Whether it's criminal defense, bankruptcy, personal injury, or family law, I want to help you. I can be reached at 501-503-5095. Don't face your legal issues alone. You need an attorney whose primary objective is to provide you with the best legal representation. Our office address is 415 North McKinley, Suite 710 in Little Rock. I'm attorney Theodore Thompson, and I want to provide you with the best legal representation.
I'm so glad I found a Kick Above. It's like my very own personal training studio. A Kick Above removed the guesswork and intimidation and offered me a very supportive and structured environment specific to my personal goals. Kim Leverett and her certified personal trainers even offered nutritional guidelines for my personal workout. It's about me at a Kick Above. Call 501-868-8850 or go to akickabove.com. Now, what am I wearing tonight? Thanks to a Kick Above, I look marvelous.
The views and opinions expressed today on Black Focus Radio are not the views and opinions of the station, its management, or its advertisers. Now, let's get ready to focus on our issues, our solutions, using our voices on Black Focus Radio.
Welcome to Black Focus, the show designed with our community in mind, where we focus on our issues, developing our solutions, using our voices. Central Arkansas, surrounding areas, and the nation. Get ready. Black Focus starts right now. Phone lines open at 855-525-5683. So here's your host, David W. Coleman and Robert Webb.
All right, welcome back to the second hour of Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you call the show if you want to talk to me. You can also respond on Facebook as well as go out to YouTube and look up Black Focus Radio and become a subscriber. This hour, we're going to talk a little bit about Charles Starks and the Highwaymen, and of course, why government officials are not responding to these terrorists. We need to start asking these questions. Okay? We need to start asking those questions. But before we do that, I want to read something to you. Okay? Because this is near and dear to my heart. Okay? This article is from a website called theconversation.com, and it's called Swimming While Black, and I'm going to read a couple of graphs to you. Okay? It starts off like this. It says, why did the black boy drown? Because he couldn't swim. And he couldn't swim because learning to swim is one of those intersections where race, space, and class collide. Black people in the United States drown at 5 times the rate of white people. And most of those deaths occur in public swimming pools. Let me say that again. Black people in the United States drown 5 times the rate of white people, and most of those deaths are in a swimming pool. The swimming ability of the group quickly became an issue in the preliminary investigations of Perry's death, the young man who had died. It turned out that half of the kids couldn't swim. Hello? Y'all understand that, right? Now, why am I bringing that up? Okay? Because Simone Manuel, along with other black swimmers, last year launched a program to teach black kids how to swim. It is amazing to me how many black people do not swim. And I become very annoyed. I listen to Charles Barkley on Come On Dan Patrick and make references and laugh about the fact that black children do not swim or black people do not swim. Do you understand the racist background of why black people don't swim? You understand that white people didn't want to get in swimming pools with black people. You understand that there were some pools that literally poured acid into the water to keep black people from swimming in their pools. So the reason black people don't swim is based on a racist history of America. So when you have ignorant people like Charles Barkley getting on national radio shows talking and laughing about the fact that black people don't swim, it is costing black lives. And why am I bringing this up? Because I want to applaud Mayor Frank Scott. Now, apparently, there has been an issue of people being able to swim at the taxpayer-paid Jim Daly Fitness Center. It used to be called War Memorial Park. And just to give you a point of reference, this is the same park in which yours truly learned how to swim. See, because in my youth, every summer, the local Red Cross would give free swimming lessons. Every summer. And I remember as a kid, I think I started in those swimming lessons when I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. Okay? Now, needless to say, every Saturday and Sunday at some point, we were going to go to the swimming pool. We were going to War Memorial. Now, let me paint you a picture of how big War Memorial swimming pool was. So when I came back and moved to Little Rock and saw what they had done to War Memorial, I was stunned. War Memorial had a 1 foot and a 2 foot pool. It was called the baby pool. It was separated. Next to the baby pool, it had the 3 foot. Okay? And that 3 foot went all the way up to about 4 feet. Next to it, a conjoining pool, there was a rope, and across the rope, there was the 5, 6, 8, and then 12 feet. You knew not to go across that rope unless you could swim. Okay? So that was the war memorial I grew up with. And not only that, when I took swimming lessons, I started in the baby pool, as everyone did. Didn't matter how old you were, you started in the baby pool and worked your way up. And every summer, I got better and better, to the point, by the time I was, 12, 13, I was in a 12-foot diving off an 8-meter diving board, taking off my clothes in the pool and learning how to survive in case of a watercraft accident, and testing for my lifeguard badge. So I've been literally swimming all my life. So it became shocking to me that most black kids grow up and don't swim, and it's dangerous for their lives. So apparently there's been an issue with this pool. So yesterday, Mayor Frank Scott issued a statement which is fantastic. And I'm going to read it to you. Mayor Frank Scott released this statement on Wednesday about the return of recreational swimming at the Jim Daly Fitness and Aquatic Center on Saturday, June 1st. Quality of life is of utmost importance to me. In fact, it's one of the top 3 priorities of my administration. So I asked our Parks and Recreation Director to provide options for me to review that will ensure residents have access to the diving board and slide at the Jim Daly Fitness Aquatic Center pool this summer. I spent many days at this pool growing up, and I know how important it is for our children to have full access to equipment that can make their summer break more enjoyable at a small cost. The changes to pool access were approved in December 2018 prior to my swearing in. However, thanks to the diligence of the Parks and Recreation team, we have been able to reestablish recreational swim Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays from June 1st to July 21st. Recreation swim time will be scheduled for Friday and Saturday, 12 to 6 p.m., and Sunday from 1 to 5 p.m. I am appreciative of the Parks and Recreation team working with me to come up with a resolution that both keeps the quality of life Jewel in full operation while we keeping our costs low. So apparently they had made some changes in the fall about the gym, because I know last summer, because that's where I go and swim. There were kids over there last summer. What changes did they make? I'm going to have to look into that. But here's why this is important to me. And here's what I would love for people to do. I would love for the Red Cross to step up and start teaching these children how to swim. Given the statistics of that black people are 5 times more likely to die drowning in a public pool, it makes all the sense in the world that the Red Cross step up and start doing this again. But either way, this is a great opportunity for people who, kids who can't swim. I don't know, it doesn't give any pricing or anything. I'm sure there'll be a cost to get your kids over there to this pool. Okay? It's still a little disconcerting for me with me growing up with that pool and not seeing it the way it used to be. Man, that pool had a 1 meter, a 3 meter, and they were twin sets, so they had on either side of the 12 feet. They had a 1 meter, a 3 meter, a 5 meter, and an 8 meter board. Was it a 1, 2, 5? No, it was a 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8 meter board. And I remember whenever they opened up the 8 meters, because the 12 feet was cordoned off by a rope as well. So they had to remove the rope. So anytime you dived off the 8 meters, they had to, and it was a spectacle, because every Sunday evening they would open up the 8 meter board for about 20, 30 minutes. Anyone who wanted to jump off the 8 meter board. Not many people did it. I did it quite often. It was great. And let's say I swan dive, I did a 1.5, and of course you did the jump. Of course, I quickly learned you don't want to jump. Okay? So Hats off to Mayor Daley. I said Mayor Daley. Hats off to Mayor Frank Scott for making sure that these kids have a place to go this summer and swim and enjoy themselves. And hopefully some of those kids will learn how to swim. Now, let me make sure I cover everything else, because most of the rest of the hour, I want to make sure that we're gonna talk about this Charles Starks thing. And I apologize for people who are listening outside the state who are not understanding what's going on, but it's so important that we talk about this, and we talk about it at length. And there are a couple of other stories that we may get to later on, but right now this story is very important. So just to remind you, those of us who are in this area, we all know the name Charles Starks, at least we should, and we know the name Bradley Blackshire. Bradley Blackshire was the young black male who was lynched, in my opinion, right there at 12th and Canis and Rodney Parham for allegedly driving a stolen car that he didn't know was stolen. We've all seen the horrific video where Cowboy Starks violated department policy multiple times. First of all, by shooting into a car where other people were there, and then jumping on top of the car. He ends up shooting and killing Bradley Blackshire, shooting him 8 times. Of course, in this day and time, for whatever reasons, our country have decided that police can murder and kill people beyond the Constitution of the United States and be set free without even standing trial. For somewhere in the Constitution that I'm yet to find, and I carry a Constitution around with me everywhere I go, and in fact, in my bag today, I have 2 sets of the Constitution. I'm yet to find where it says that police can be judge, jury, and executioner. I'm yet to find that. So if there's someone out there, if there's a constitutional scholar, because there are certainly people who are smarter than I, if there's a constitutional scholar who can point me in the direction of where the Constitution says the police can be the judge, juror, and executioner, I'd like to see that, because I would like to share that with my audience. But so far, I'm yet to discover that amendment. So Charles Starks didn't even get charged, but he got fired from the police department. Okay? But for some reason or another, police jobs have become civil service jobs. And when you become a police officer, even though you break the law, even though you violate the constitutional rights of citizens, you still have to go before a civil service commission to determine whether or not your job can be repealed and you can get your job back, or the termination stays in effect. Charles Starks will get that opportunity July 25th at the Civil Service Commission. That Civil Service Commission, by the way, if you don't know, it takes place at the city board office. Now, why is this important? Number one, this place ought to be packed. It ought to be shoulder room only. In fact, for black people, look, I don't want to hear black churches not showing up for this. It ought to be packed. Here is a man who murdered, who lynched a black male for all of us to see. He does not deserve to be paid by taxpayers' dollars. Here's a man who was recommended prior. Look, think about it from this perspective. When Officer Johnny Gilbert recommended that Charles Starks be fired because Charles Starks was basically a a-hole, didn't follow directions, what would Bradley Blackshire would still be here today had the Little Rock Police Department fired him then? he would still be here today. But because the Little Rock Police Department failed to do their job, Bradley Blackshire is now dead, lynched before all of us to see. So here's an opportunity again for the city of Little Rock to begin to wean himself away from officers who come to Little Rock to hunt, like Charles Starks. He should be fired. And a Civil Service Commission needs to do their job. There's no debate here. But we need to do our job as well. You need to get your butt down to the Civil Service Commission. Make sure you're there. If you can't be there both days, be there one day. Choose one. It says July 25th and 26th. They say this will likely be a lengthy and complicated appeals process. Why should it be lengthy? He was already recommended to be fired by a fellow officer. Had they taken that recommendation at that point, Charles Starks would have been fired and we wouldn't be here. And by the way, the taxpayers, because certainly the Little Rock Police Department and Little Rock is going to be sued by the Blackshire family. And rightfully so. And they're going to prevail. So that means that taxpayers' dollars are going to go into the pockets of the Blackshire family, which I don't begrudge that whatsoever. Because there's not enough money that can bring back Mrs. Blackshire's son. But the fact of the matter is that that's taxpayers' dollars that Charles Starks is costing us. He doesn't deserve to be a police officer in this city. He's not a hero. He's not some superstar. He's a murderer. Now, let me go a little bit further. It has also been announced, according to the Highwaymen. Those of you who don't know who the Highwaymen, they are some new racist organization, some offshoot of the terrorist organization known as the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. They are an offshoot of them. And they are asking that as many followers as there can be, to show up at this hearing. Now, here are racists. These are avowed racists who are supporting Charles Starks. Now, when Andrew Gillum was asked if Mark DeSantis, when they were running for governor of Florida a few months ago, when he was asked did he think that Mark DeSantis was a racist, Andrew Gillum said, I don't know if he's a racist, but he sure has a lot of racist friends. Hello? Now, I don't know if Charles Starks is a racist. I do know that he executed Bradley Blackshire. That was plain for all of us to see, regardless of, and look, and people will say, well, they didn't press any charges, so that made it legal. Well, just remember that at one point in America, slavery was legal. Just because it was legal doesn't mean it was right. Just because something is legal doesn't make it right. But I don't know if Charles Starks is a racist. But I know for a fact that there are a lot of racist people supporting Charles Starks. So my question and my tease was this. If in fact Charles Starks isn't a racist, shouldn't Charles Starks or his spokesperson, whomever his attorney is, come out and vociferously denounce the Highwaymen? Shouldn't Charles Starks come out and say, hey, we don't want you all here, that does nothing more than fan the flames. Shouldn't Charles Starks say that? If Charles Starks is not a racist, shouldn't Charles Starks and his spokesperson, whomever that may be, say, hey, we do not want the support of the racist organization, the Highwaymen? Shouldn't Charles Starks say that? As a matter of fact, not only should Charles Starks say that, but shouldn't the FOP say that? After all, the FOP is part of the mission of defending all of Little Rockers, right? The FOP has already been accused of being a racist organization. Shouldn't the FOP immediately issue a statement saying that they do not want the support of the racist organization, the Highwaymen? Now, they may have already issued that statement. I have not seen it. If you've seen it, please, by all means, forward it to me. You police officers who are listening to the show, will you please forward it to me? I want to see the statement from the Little Rock FOP stating that they do not want the support of the racist organization, the Highwaymen. Have they issued that statement yet? Is it forthcoming? Has the local media even asked the question, shouldn't the FOP come out and say, because look, after all, many black people think that the FOP is nothing more than an extension of the KKK. Many black people believe that there are many racist police officers on the Little Rock Police Department. Isn't it incumbent upon the FOP, because there are black officers in the FOP, which boggles my mind, isn't it incumbent upon the FOP to say, hey, wait a minute, we do not want the Highwaymen supporting our fellow officer, Charles Starks? Because I say fellow officer because we know that the FOP is going to support Charles Starks. We already know that. But is it wave your head and tell everybody to come on, all the racists in the house? Is that where we are now, Little Rock FOP? Let's just invite all the racists in the house to support a police officer who violated company policy and killed a man, an unarmed man, for no reason. Hello, FOP, where are you? Where's your statement? As a matter of fact, this is what I'm talking about, local media where it has no guts. Where, look, Fox 16 can go out to Green Acres Farms or wherever that was to take a picture and film the effigy of a black man hanging from a tree and a Confederate flag, a symbol, but you won't go to the Little Rock FOP, Fraternal Order of Police, and ask them why they have not issued a statement condemning the support from the Highwaymen for Charles Starks. Hello? I'm just asking the question. Because apparently, the local white media ain't gonna ask that question. And by the way, shouldn't the Little Rock Police Department, Chief Humphreys, issue a statement about the Highwaymen and how, although you can't stop them from coming, how you are displeased with that addition to this already tense situation? I know, Joseph. I don't expect a statement from the FOP. But shouldn't the Little Rock Police Department issue a statement? In fact, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I would like to see Mayor Frank Scott issue a statement about this situation. This is an already very tense situation. Why would you want a racist organization coming into this environment, by the way, who many of them don't even live here. Oh, by the way, folks, this is why you have to go. Go and take as many pictures of these people as you can. Take pictures of many people. Get your camera out and videotape as many people as you can going in and out of this building. And let's try to identify who they are. We need to know who the racists are amongst us. But I would like to see Mayor Scott issue a statement. This issue has become very volatile. Oh, I know. The Black Police Officers Association, Joseph, which at one point Johnny Gilbert was, I believe, the president. By the way, if black police officers in Little Rock have to form their own organization and sue the Little Rock Police Department, what does that say about policing here in Little Rock? What does that say about the white police officers here in Little Rock? I'm just saying. It's time for us to start calling our leaders to the carpet. When, look, the same that I've said about Asa Hutchinson. There have been story after story of white supremacists moving to Arkansas. In fact, the area from which Asa Hutchinson hails, Northwest Arkansas, is replete with racist dogma, signage, Confederate flags. Yet, I am yet to hear the governor of Arkansas say one thing about the racism that is rearing its head in the state of Arkansas. And the question is, why isn't the local media asking these questions? About a month or so ago, it was revealed that 5,000 to 8,000 racists live in Arkansas. And more are moving to Arkansas. Here's why it's popular. As we mentioned yesterday on the show, Arkansas is a natural state. It has great weather. It has great places up in the mountains where you can live basically undetected. Basically undetected. So you can go and camp out in these mountains and espouse your racist views, and then when people come looking for you, you can hide out very easily. I posted some pictures about my weekend trip this weekend. You know, I like to go camping too. Those pictures don't do justice to how thick that overbrush is. Look, there are some places where you couldn't detect us from a helicopter. So all of these racists are moving to Arkansas. Many of them are getting jobs. Many of them are police officers. We know that now. It is incumbent upon the Little Rock FOP to issue a statement denouncing the Highwaymen and saying they do not want them at this hearing for Charles Starks on the 27th. I'm telling you, folks, it's going to be tense enough. You throw in those redneck racists, something could pop off. Because, see, I don't think Little Rock officials have gotten it yet. There is an undercurrent of anguish and anger in the black community as it relates to what's going on, not just with the police, but with the city as a whole as it relates to black life and white life. There is a running undercurrent. And what this city officials ought to be doing things to at least limit the frustration as opposed to sitting silent. I know some people say, well, if you say something, then what that'll do is give those people means or credit. But in this case, As volatile as this situation is with Charles Starks, you got to say something. The Little Rock Police Department has got to say something. The mayor's office has got to say something. The Little Rock FOP, who many people believe is a racist organization, let's prove your mettle. Even if you are racist, FOP, don't you say something to add cover to your agenda? By you saying nothing, rubber stamps what I'm saying about people believing you are racist. Don't you come out and make just some weak statement. We don't believe in that, so we don't want them here. Hello? I'm just asking the question because apparently no one else will. No one else will. Because many people believe that the FOP is nothing more than a racist organization. As I said earlier, if it was not, why did the black police officers have to form a Black Police Officers Association, a BPOA? Because their concerns were not being addressed by the FOP. Hello? Hello? See, this is not a symbol. This is something that needs to be said. And it's time for Little Rock to stand up. If you truly believe, or if you really want to solve the problems, or begin to solve the problems, because Little Rock has a lot of problems. I had no idea when I moved back that Little Rock was living in 1957. Oh, the outward appearance, oh, Little Rock is growing, Little Rock is this, Little Rock is that. But it's pretty clear Little Rock is still living in 1957. This fight over schools is about 1957. The destruction of 9th Street is about 1957. So when are you going to step into the future? You know, Arkansas could step in the future. Look, let me tell you something. Governor Bill Haslam of the state of Tennessee, someone whom I don't care for at all, who's a Republican, but every now and then Republicans would do things that make sense. So prior to him leaving office this last time, one of the things that many went unnoticed, that went unnoticed, is the fact that he made community college free for everybody. Now, why is that important? Tennessee is one of the poorest states in the country. Part of the reason that it's poor is because its citizens, let's be real, are uneducated, which leads to ignorance. So if I'm a corporation and I want to relocate to Tennessee, I first want to look at their educational background. If I'm a high-tech company, and the majority of the people that live in your agrarian state only knows farming, and I've got to spend millions of dollars as a high-tech company to train those people, do I really want to do that? Or do I want to go to another state who has their educational quotient in that state is much higher than my state? So Governor Bill Haslam decided that, hey, I want to make sure that our young people and anyone who wants to get a degree can do so and are educated. And then also he tied volunteerism into getting that free degree. So what that's going to do over the next 4 to 5 to 10 years, and certainly into the future, that's going to make that state smarter. That means that there will be more jobs coming to that state. There will be more entrepreneurs in that state. Why don't we have a governor here in the state of Arkansas who can understand that concept? You can't say, hey, that was done by a Republican governor right next door to you. Arkansas right now is what? Anywhere from 45th to 50th when it comes to educated populace. You can quickly change that or turn that around by simply saying, hey, we're going to make sure that everyone who wants a degree can go to college and get a degree. That will make our citizens of the state of Arkansas smarter, which will draw more jobs. But see, we don't have leaders who think that way. We have leaders who stay silent as a terrorist organization moves into its state. That terrorist organization being the skinheads, the KKK, the Highwaymen, and the Smart Boys. No, I don't call them alt-right. They're not alt-right. They are terrorists. So if you really want to change the dynamics of Arkansas, then it is incumbent upon the leaders of Arkansas to come out and address the issue of terrorism. We talked to Cliff May yesterday, and Russellville as of late has been ground zero for terrorist and racist actions. Even though the mayor's statement was mamby-pamby, he did at least try to come out and say, hey, we like everybody. We don't want y'all here. Although we know it wasn't legit. We know it wasn't sincere. But at least he made a statement. I'm just asking, shouldn't the Little Rock FOP make a statement saying that they don't want the Highwaymen coming to support Charles Starks? Let me take that back. Shouldn't they make a statement and say that they don't want the terrorist organization, the Highwaymen, coming to Little Rock to support Charles Starks? You would think they'd want to say that and make that clear. And those in their ranks who are part of the Highwaymen, because we know they are some, you would send a message to the leaders and say, hey, dog, we agree with what you're saying behind closed doors, but we don't need you in Little Rock stirring up stuff. Shouldn't the FOP do that? Shouldn't the Little Rock Police Department make a statement and say that? I think they should. I think they should. The question is, will they? 855-525-5683 is the number. You want to cut down on tensions? Look, black people in Little Rock already believe that the FOP is a racist organization. Black people already in Little Rock already believe that the Little Rock Police Department, the majority of the white officers that are in the Little Rock Police Department are racist. Black people in Little Rock already believe that the tactics employed by the Little Rock Police Department is racist. So shouldn't the Little Rock Police Department be doing everything it can to keep black people from believing that? Shouldn't the Little Rock Police Department be doing every public relations stunt that comes to mind to dispel the fact that they're racist? Because I'm going to tell you, folks, I've lived in a lot of cities, and I hear these comments about police departments all the time. But I got to be honest with you. The disdain that black people have for the Little Rock Police Department, to me, is over the top. It borders on danger. I'm serious. I mean, it's there in a lot of places. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to tell you, this relationship with the black community and the Little Rock Police Department is unhealthy for this city. It's got to be fixed. And it can't be fixed by police officers having barbecues. It can't be fixed by police officers stopping and shooting basketball with black kids or playing with dolls. There's got to be some systemic change. And it begins with the Little Rock FOP. If they want change, if they want a better relationship with the black community, then they have to extend their hand. Black people are not going to do that anymore. Black people have already told you we don't trust you. In fact, you have already proven to black people why we don't trust you. The FOP has got to do this. They've got to come out and make a statement against the Highwaymen coming to this hearing. Because if they don't, they further solidify the negative feelings that black people have about the Little Rock FOP and the Little Rock Police Department. Some things just got to be done. Some things have just got to be done. 855-525-5683 is the number. I'd like to hear your thoughts. I know a lot of you all are making comments on the Facebook feed. Let me go out here real fast and see. But this is important. Jackie says they should not be allowed to come because this has the potential of causing a very, very hostile situation. The mayor, FOP, police chief, leaders all need to stand up and not fuel the fire. I agree. Now, unfortunately, they can't stop them from coming. But they certainly can come out and make a statement, a joint statement together. You need the mayor, you need the president of the BPA, you need the president of the FOP, you need the police chief, all standing behind the mayor, making a definitive statement, acknowledging that, hey, the rights of the highwaymen under the Constitution are understood. But we sure as hell don't want you here in Little Rock. This situation is already a volatile situation. And you show up, it could get worse. In fact, why don't you claim a public nuisance? You do that with strip clubs all the time. I've been in cities where strip clubs have been eliminated because they've determined them a public nuisance. Well, the highwaymen certainly are a public nuisance. You got to come out and say something. You cannot just sit around and ignore. Look, we've sat around for the last 25 years and ignored racism. You know, that tactic was, hey, well, just ignore them, it'll go away. Don't talk about them. That'll give them airtime. Well, clearly that tact did not work. Because for the last 25 years, you all have been ignoring the racism and the bigotry that had plagued this country. You all have been thinking, oh, we live in another world. That stuff don't exist anymore. When there was evidence after evidence. Look, these police shootings have been going on for decades. (855-525-5683) is the number. We're going to go out and take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. You're listening to Black Focus Radio. I'm Dynamic Dave on joinnetradio.com.
This is attorney Danielle Walker from the Walker Law Firm. Are you drowning in debt? Is your debt becoming unmanageable? Are you struggling to make ends meet? It might be time to consider bankruptcy options. Call me at 501-374-1448 and let me provide you with the professional legal guidance and help protect you from foreclosure, harassing bill collectors, repossessions, wage garnishments, and more. I have a proven record of serving clients just like you for over 20 years. I'm conveniently located downtown Little Rock at 323 Center Street, Suite 1020. Call today for a free, no obligation consultation. 501-374-1448. 501-374-1448. 501-374-1448. This is attorney Danielle Walker from the Walker Law Firm, and let me help you.
Hey friends, Father's Day is right around the corner, and Coleman's Dynamic Products is offering a dynamic gift just for Dad. Pick 6 for Dad. Any 6 items in my product line. Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, Dust, Juice, Nuts, Batter, and you name it, all for only $29.95 plus shipping and handling. Upgrade to Pick 10 for only $39.95. Pick 6 for Dad. You must call 615-554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day special. Dad and you will be glad you did. Each purchase receives a Coleman's Dynamic downloadable cookbook. We want to say Happy Father's Day for all the great fathers out there. And while you enjoy your day, don't forget to bake it, grill it, smoke it, oh yeah, with Coleman's Dynamic product. Pick 6 or pick 10. You must call 615-554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day special.
All right, welcome back to the show. One other quick story. Look, we're gonna keep up on this because we're looking for statements here. We need public officials to stand up. And by the way, where are our church leaders? Are you telling your congregation to get down to the Civil Service Commission? Evil can only thrive when good people do nothing. The reason we're seeing this evil all over again is because good people have done nothing for decades. See, what y'all forget is Rodney King happened, 1986? This has been going on for decades. Nobody said anything. No one cared. Everybody wanted to say, oh, well, had he complied. Police do not have the right to violate the Constitution. I don't care what implied consent you all have given them. Police do not have the right to shoot a fleeing suspect. That has been established law by the Supreme Court of the United States for decades. So it is important that public officials here make a stand and say, hey, we are not allowing, or we don't want the, look, anytime these people let me give you an example. In Dayton, Ohio, this past weekend, they had a white supremacist rally. 9 people showed up. 9. It cost the city of Dayton, check this out, $650,000 just to protect those 9 people. Now, some people would argue, well, to protect the First Amendment, it was worth it. Look, I can go with that argument. But at the end of the day, do we really want to be kicking out $650,000 to support bigotry and racism? There's got to be a better way. And it is incumbent upon this city, all of the powers that be, because this Charles Starks thing is volatile enough. You need to come out with a concerted statement from together, a joint statement saying that we do not want the Highwaymen here in Little Rock on July 25th. You've got to do it. There's no hemming and hawing. There's no, oh, well, maybe, no, maybe. No. Little Rock is fractured enough. You want to continue that fraction? Or do you want to start healing it? Now is the time. And by the way, particularly with the FOP, because your officers are paid by taxpayers' dollars. The police are paid by taxpayers' dollars. Don't you want to come in and say, hey, we support the city of Little Rock by making sure that they know that we don't want highwaymen, KKK, skinheads, and Proud Boys parading up and down our public streets, creating strife. That's what needs to be done. Now, whether or not the local media will step up and ask the city officials for a statement, or whether the statement will come from public officials, I don't know. But somebody needs to say something. Because as I said to you, as I talk to people on the street, this situation is very, very tense. It's not just about Bradley Blackshire. It's about the overall treatment from the Little Rock Police Department to black communities in this city. And if something isn't done, it's a powder keg waiting to explode. And then you're going to start saying, oh, well, we should have. Yeah, you should have. And you know what I'm going to say? I told you so on Black Focus Radio, but you didn't want to listen to me. This is a very tense situation. It's not going to go away. You can't sweep it under the rug the way you've been doing for decades. It has to be addressed. If Little Rock is going to move forward as a city, bigotry and racism is something that it has to get rid of. No matter what's around Little Rock, if those other cities want to do that, fine. But Little Rock should be a beacon of hope for anyone, whether they're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, Arab. I don't give a damn if you're polka dot. It should be a beacon of hope for anyone who says, hey, I can go to Little Rock and be treated like everybody else. And then the jobs will start flowing. The companies will start moving here. Little Rock is a capital city. Little Rock ought to be the example for the state. Here's how you do it. You want industry to move to your area, then you have to be open-minded. And that begins with city officials. I'm just saying. 855-525-5683 is the number. I'm giving you that number, but don't call me now because I'm about to hit the dough. I gots to go. But I hope you enjoyed the show. Tomorrow on the show, we've got Chris James. We'll talk to him about the House of Art and the great work he's doing. I don't know if you know, but Chris James has moved to Atlanta. That talent is in Atlanta. Had to move to Atlanta, Georgia, in order to be recognized, for his talent to be recognized. That should say a lot about Little Rock and Arkansas proper. See, this is what's happening to this state, is you look around the nation, you'd be shocked how many people have emanated from Little Rock and Arkansas proper who have went on to be great people and have never come back and brought that knowledge to this state. Why do you think that is? We've got a brain drain going on in this state. And that's why it's not moving forward. Hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to catch us tomorrow. We're looking forward to talking to Chris James. See what he's doing in Atlanta. And maybe we can talk him into coming back to Little Rock, but I doubt it. That's what you... Look, I moved away when I was, 24, 25? The only reason I moved back was because my mom is 94 years old and was getting older. My kids had graduated from college. There was really no roots for me to be in Nashville, although I loved the city. But I went away and sought my fame and fortune in another city. You want Arkansas to be better than what it is, then you've got to keep its talent at home, and you've got to make sure that that talent has something to do while they're here. Gotta go. Remember, the ultimate measure of a man or a woman is not where he or she stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but in times of challenge. Y'all have a great day. See you tomorrow.